Saint Birgitta, also known as Bridget of Sweden, God's emissary from 1303 to 1373. Birgitta's life seemed destined for greatness even before she was born. When her mother Ingeborg was pregnant with Birgitta, she was saved from a shipwreck by the king's brother. That night, Ingeborg had a vision of someone in glowing clothes telling her she had been saved because of the special child she was carrying, a gift from God. On the night Birgitta was born, an elderly priest had a vision where Mary told him a girl had been born, whose voice would be heard throughout the world with admiration. The challenge of marriage? Despite these amazing beginnings, Birgitta didn't show signs of her future holiness right away. She didn't speak for the first 3 years of her life, worrying her parents. But when she was almost 4, she suddenly began speaking in complete sentences. As a teenager, she wanted to live a holy life, but her family wanted her to marry. At 13, she married 18-year-old nobleman Ulf Gudmarsson. In those times, the church believed that being a virgin was the best way for women to be close to God. Marriage was seen as less holy, especially if it involved sexual activity. However, Birgitta and her husband chose to live chastely for at least a year after their marriage. When they did have relations, it was with the goal of having children. They prayed for children and were blessed with 8, all of whom survived infancy, which was rare in the Middle Ages. Although marriage became more acceptable later, the church still valued virginity the most. Birgitta and Ulf had a loving marriage for 28 years, but Birgitta felt relieved when Ulf died because she could then fully dedicate herself to a holy life. She even discarded her wedding ring, symbolizing her move away from earthly ties. A few days after Ulf's death, Birgitta had a vision calling her to a religious life. She saw a bright cloud with a human figure and heard a voice saying, "You shall be my bridge and my channel." This vision allowed Birgitta to live a religious life while staying active in the world. Earlier, Birgitta had taught her husband to pray and was responsible for educating the young King Magnus of Sweden and his wife. In 1346, she founded the Order of the Bridgetines with the help of King Magnus, who gave his former castle to the nuns. However, Birgitta did not join the convent. She had a different mission. In 1349, Birgitta received a vision telling her to go to Rome and stay there until she saw the Pope and the Emperor together. She never returned to Sweden. Her visions and writings were bold, often criticizing powerful men and predicting bad outcomes if they did not follow God's commands. In her revelations, she criticized the moral decay of Rome and the clergy, calling for a thorough cleansing. Despite her courage, she faced many attacks and threats, but was not punished because her criticisms were aimed at individuals, not the church itself. Pope Urban V temporarily returned to Rome in 1368, fulfilling one of Birgitta's prophecies. Although she failed to convince him to stay, her prediction came true when he died suddenly after returning to Avignon. Birgitta remained determined to see the Pope return to Rome. 5 days before her death in 1373, she appealed to Pope Gregory XI. Although she knew she wouldn't live to see it, she never gave up hope. 4 years after her death, Pope Gregory XI returned to Rome, fulfilling her lifelong mission. Birgitta's life teaches us that even if we don't see God's promises fulfilled in our lifetime, our faithful contributions are important to His ultimate plan.